Yeah, my question is actually for all of you. Congress doesn't write perfect bills. We avoid detail to keep majorities. We need to pass bills. Sometimes we think we're being clear and we're not. We are also can't see the future, and our decisions likely are going to have some unintended consequences. What are the courts and agencies going to do now that they have to determine best reading, and now what the Congress needs to do in order to be ready to react in those situations?
So, Senator, I can start answering that question. So, at least from the judicial perspective, courts have been instructed from the Supreme Court now to use really every tool in the interpretive toolbox to come down to give a statute its best reading. And this is familiar to the judicial task in non-administrative law areas of the law as well, like, I don't know, like a criminal statute, for example. There is no agency for the courts to kind of throw up its hands and defer to what the agency view is. So the court has to come to a meaning of the law there. And post-Loper Bright, courts are under instruction to do the same thing in the administrative law context. So using statutory canons, precedent, dictionaries, what have you, coming to what the court's own independent judgment is about what the best meaning of the law.
Does any of you have a response?
I think agencies, too, obviously will have to do that. And research by Chris Walker at Michigan Law found that they already are, they're relying less on Chevron, the assumption that they'll get Chevron deference, and working harder to interpret the best interpretation. So maybe getting back to what Representative Schwartz was saying, the iteration and the back and forth, the communication between the executive and the legislative branch could help there.
I would just ask that, I would just again reiterate the fact that it's Congress that actually makes these decisions ultimately. So coming back to Congress if they need to, is one possibility. But again, making sure that you have the expertise and they have the expertise. It does not help to have hollowed out so much of the expertise in these agencies. How can you rely on them if there's no one there to pick up the phone, so to speak, which is happening? You know that, you see it. We expect more cuts to happen. And I think that's a real problem to invest. We invest a lot of confidence in the agencies, and we always had. And some are civil servants who serve Republicans and Democratic administrations. They know this field. But again, if they have questions, or you do, in terms of the regulation, there are comment periods. I think we don't actually use that comment period very well. We actually leave that to the outside interest groups and representatives and individuals to write in, but doesn't mean that Congress can't also say, we didn't quite mean this, I suppose, and really try and articulate that better. So I think there are opportunities that exist. But again, making sure that you have the expertise to be able to respond, and making sure that there are experts in the agencies who you can rely on, and because you want to do their jobs completely. The other, as I would say, is again, don't use reauthorization the way we could. We sometimes wait on reauthorization for years, or we just continue to say, okay, we don't have time, just let it go. I have one big one coming up. MACRA expires at the end of the year. Is there a real discussion we know should be going on about changes that can be made to enhance that legislation? There's a lot of bipartisan interest in it working, but it really, to just let it go another year or 2 or 3 could actually undermine a really important effort that's been passed by Congress. But it needs time and effort to actually get into what should change and what could improve that law. So I would use the reauthorization process and also ask for, we talked about this, a possible review of how a law has been implemented. What's the data? What's the evidence? Is it doing what we want it to? And you can do that. You can find out. Are people healthier as a result of what we did, or are they worse off? Are they spending more money as consumers, or they're not? Is, in fact, the air cleaner because we've getting rid of our efforts to do clean energy? Are we happy with what's happening? Is that working for us or for you and for the American people? That's something you could call on in law to say, I want to report back in a year or 2, even before reauthorization, to be, how is this working, and how could we improve it if we need to?
Yeah. I appreciate that very much.